All right, everyone. So we have another video here from Seth the Programmer, and I guess you could consider this a follow-up to two other videos that he did. One was focused on Black Frieza, and one was focused on Gohan Beast. And this one is going to be putting both of them against each other. Now, it's interesting that this video just came out because in a live stream that I did, at least as of the recording of this video, we actually talked about this, and one of the people who was on the live stream, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting your name, let me know in the comments if you're watching this video. They mentioned that, eventually we're gonna have to put the two against each other to see which one is, the strongest out of the two. And they even mentioned that, they can't wait until Seth makes a video about this, and well, here we are. It's interesting, this whole topic of, who's stronger, Gohan Beast or Black Frieza, is really interesting because, with the recent movie that just came out, a lot of people have been wondering, like, okay, Gohan Beast, like, where does he rank in terms of power? Because he, like, effortlessly managed to take out Cell Max. Now, he did have help from Piccolo, of course, but a lot of people I've heard make the point of, even if Piccolo wasn't there, Gohan would have still been able to destroy him, just like how he was able to destroy Cell back in the Cell games at the end of the Artificial Humans arc. Again, it's interesting because, Black Frieza also debuted in the latest chapter of the Dragon Ball Super manga. I think it was chapter 87, where it was the end of the Granola arc. And ever since that happened, and then we saw the movie, a lot of people have been wondering, like, okay, between these two, who exactly is the strongest? I'm sure people would say it's Black Frieza. I'm sure some people would say it's Gohan Beast. And the truth is, well, we don't really know because, one of the problems with Dragon Ball Super is that sometimes the power scaling can be a bit vague. We have some statements from Toriyama, him saying that Cell Max is someone who was, like, if he was allowed to be completed, then even Broly wouldn't be able to do anything against him. But they don't, or he doesn't specify which version of Broly he was talking about. Was he talking about Broly from the Super Broly movie, or was he talking about Broly currently? Like, would he actually be able to do anything against Cell Max? And we don't know how strong Broly is currently compared to Goku and Vegeta as they are now. I would assume he's gotten a lot stronger because they tell us that he's been training with Goku and Vegeta. Apparently they've been, or at least it's kind of implied that he's being taught by Goku and Vegeta to keep his power in check so he doesn't rage out like he did in the Broly movie. At least that's what it's kind of implied. So we can say that maybe he's gotten a lot stronger than he was in the Broly movie. So we can't really compare Cell Max to Broly from the Broly movie. So if that's who Toriyama is talking about, then we do have an interesting gauge for how strong Gohan Beast actually is. If he was able to destroy effortlessly Cell Max, who could take out Broly currently, except we don't know how strong Broly is currently compared to Goku and Vegeta. We don't really get a good idea of that. So again, it's a little difficult. We know Black Frieza is stronger than Goku and Vegeta, at least it seems like by a lot, because it was stated in the latest chapter that he trained for 10 years in the Room of Spirit and Time, and we saw how strong he got in just 4 months. So 10 years, we don't know how long it'll probably take for Goku and Vegeta to catch up to him, although I'm pretty sure it's not going to be long, or it's going to be that long until they manage to catch up to him, because Goku and Vegeta will be as strong as the plot kind of needs them to be. So we'll find out eventually. I don't know if it's going to be the next arc. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see. But until then, all we can do now is speculate. But you know what? I've gone on long enough. Let's go ahead and watch this video. I'm waiting for someone in the comments eventually to say, here's when the reaction starts. They'll leave a timestamp in the comments, because I've seen people do that in reactions, in other reaction videos that I've seen. Someone always leaves a timestamp of, here's when, the video starts, in case you're wondering. So Seth made this video, and we're going to go ahead and watch it. And before we do, guys, as always, make sure to check the description for the links to this video as well as Seth's channel, so you can head on over there and subscribe to him and go follow him, go show him some support, and do that with every other content creator we watch here. Don't just watch my video reacting to them, go watch the actual video, because you know, that it'll be a good way to support them, because the YouTube algorithm loves people actually watching the video, commenting, liking, all that stuff just really helps out. And you could maybe consider doing that for my video. You could leave a like if you really enjoy it, comment down below with your thoughts, and if you have any recommendations, guys, for me that you want me to watch and react to, just let me know about them in the comments and I will get to them. With that being said, let's go ahead and watch this video.
Gohan and Frieza, two of the
Sorry, audio's a little loud.
biggest prodigies from original
There we
Dragon
go.
Ball, so maybe Oob, that actually have a decent history.
Yeah, Oob is 6 seconds in and I already paused it. Oob is another character who, a lot like, you know, Gohan and Frieza, I'm sure is going to be incredibly strong if Toriyama decides to, you know, actually do something with the character. I think that was actually one of the disappointments that people had with Dragon Ball GT, is that Oob, like he didn't really go anywhere with his whole training, and it kind of sucks. He kind of did something in the baby arc, but then afterwards he didn't really do anything, which kind of sucked. It just felt like wasted potential. So who knows? I mean, whether something's going to happen with them or not, we'll have to wait and see. So let's go ahead and watch the video.
With Frieza
Continue watching the video.
ever since he was literally 5 years old, to torture beaming him in Revival of Frieza, to even teaming up with him against Dispo in a multiversal tournament to save their entire universe, or even better yet, getting one shot in a Dragon Ball Z movie by Gohan.
That was funny.
These
I
two
remember
go
seeing
way
that.
back, and both grow absurdly powerful after putting any amount of time into their training. They might as well be plot incarnate and definition of good genes. While Goku and Vegeta go to the gym every day and trade with gods, Frieza and Gohan go once a month and still beat their PRs for zero reason other than Toriyama seems to want so. Originally, however,
yeah, I remember. I think I did mention this in a previous video, but I do remember saying that I wasn't really a big fan of this. I mean, I know Gohan's like someone who has a lot of potential and grows much faster than Goku and Vegeta, but yeah, I still wasn't a fan of how he just trained for a little bit with Piccolo and then all of a sudden was able to scrap with the current at this moment Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form, which is it just felt like too much. And again, this could have been easily solved if he had just had them you know, if the anime staff just had him like go into the room Spirit in Time and train for like a day, so he would have gotten a whole year of training, and then when he comes out, he could keep up with Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan Blue forms. Like, I feel like that would have been an easy fix, but then later on they had Vegeta go in and it didn't really seem to amount to much. At least it didn't seem like, but whatever.
Than Toriyama seems to want so. Originally, however, Gohan seemed to train a bit more than Frieza, and although he took long breaks, he still put quite a few years into martial arts with Piccolo, Goku, and so on. But now in Dragon Ball Super, Frieza just said, alright, I'll get off my ass and actually hit the gym, and straight up just trained 10 years straight, which is pretty much the time skip from end of Z to GT, and making him and Gohan actually put both quite a bit of time in, despite their overall seemingly laziness, which makes this battle particularly interesting, as they both now have seemed to have peaked and are kind of standing at the top of the verse, at least in terms of the normal like Z fighters or the normal warriors that do fight, not necessarily the gods, and may even be fighting soon in the future with their new Ultra Prodigy power-ups in the next arc or so. As if you guys don't remember, when Gohan and Frieza did tag team Dispo in the Tournament of Power, Gohan actually threatened Frieza very directly, and they seem to also plan together and spar with each other a little bit, so it does seem as though Gohan and Frieza do have a bit of tension going on that Frieza would definitely know, but I'll get into that soon. So for this video, which Dragon Ball prodigy is really greater? Who is stronger now based on the information we do have? Oh, and subscribe to Set the Programmer. Set the Programmer YouTube, Set the Programmer Dragon Ball.
Like I said, link in the description. I don't know if they're subscribed to him.
As a reminder, just like the previous Gohan Beast and Black Frieza videos, this one is completely just a hypothesis, and it isn't going to be a completely factual analysis due to the level of information we actually have on both. We will learn more about Gohan and Frieza's real place on the pecking order in a future arc of Super. So with that out of the way, we can now begin, but what I said in the Black Frieza video was basically this. We basically see Ultra Instinct Goku fight Gas And after becoming basically the strongest in the universe, Gas is then cursed to become stronger than whoever appears in the universe that's stronger than him, to the point that it basically accelerates his growth to compensate for this power up every time.
You know, this is interesting when they brought that up, and I don't think I mentioned this in my review. But I thought it was interesting that, you know, they mentioned that whole curse thing, that like he was supposed to be stronger than anyone else in this universe. The reason why I find it interesting is because, you know, we didn't really see that for Granola. You know, I mean, at least maybe because, I mean, we do see him sort of like get more used to actually using his power, you know, because as we saw at the beginning, like he had all this power, but Vegeta pointed out that, you know, his fighting technique was kind of amateurish, and that's why he was able to sort of gain advantage. And but yeah, but as the fight was going on, he was starting to get more used to his power, and even Goku noted that, you know, Granola's moves were getting a lot sharper. And that's what he even said, like, okay, Vegeta needs to finish the fight quickly before Granola is before he gets used to his power. And we did see him evolve to gaining like that, you know, that second, what was technically kind of like a Sharingan that he got, and it gave him that power up. But it was kind of implied that that's something like an evolution that his people actually go through, as opposed to just a random power up he got because he made a wish for from the Dragon Balls. But then afterwards, it's like, I don't know, it just seems a little bit weird, because I don't remember Granola actually going through the same thing that Gas was going. It just seems a little bit weird to me, like why it happened for him but not for Granola. Or maybe it was because Elec made the wish to make Gas the strongest, and it sort of took that away from Granola, so that way he didn't continuously get stronger. I know that's just my hypothesis. I don't know if that's actually true. My own headcanon, I don't know if that's what was actually happening.
Happens. So the stronger Goku and Vegeta get, the stronger they become or overcome the strongest in the universe, Gas. The older he gets, the point he basically becomes a Dark Souls undead zombie, and then Frieza eventually comes in, one-shots him, the strongest in the universe, and Frieza is basically so powerful that this curse that's on Gas that tries to make him stronger than Frieza then accelerates his aging so much he basically turns into dirt. I'm not joking. He has to grow so old he turns into dirt to try to reach Frieza's level, and he just dies. He then just one-shots Goku and Vegeta, and then he drops the quote, "I've been training for 10 years in a hyperbolic time chamber of all things, and I don't want to lose to Saiyans anymore," which is a pretty big statement. In my last video, I basically said, okay, he was basically training for Goku, Vegeta, who would probably have instinct amps, at least training for Goku's mastered Ultra Instinct form. He's at least training for Broly as well. He may want to defeat Broly one day, just in case Broly does get tamed. And of course, probably, Ultra Instinct Gogeta, and probably Beerus. Now, I also said this. I also said that he probably, I keep saying probably a lot, but it's important, was training for Gohan as well. Now, the reason I said that he was training for Gogeta in particular and for Broly is because he basically got beat up by Broly for an hour straight, and he did say, "I don't want to lose to Saiyans anymore." So yeah, he probably did train to beat up Broly and was training for the Ultra Instinct form, but as well as the fact that if he truly wants to be the dominator of the universe and wants to actually dominate Goku and Vegeta or control all of the universe, he would have to train for Gogeta as well. And after defeating Goku and Vegeta and seeing their power firsthand and who they were losing to, he doesn't actually seem worried about letting them go, which further implies not only is he not probably scared of a Gogeta appearing, but he doesn't even seem scared of them training in the future. And I also said this as well, but Frieza is a very good judge of character when it comes to power. Now, a lot of people don't think so because Frieza's egotistical, but throughout Super, one thing that I do appreciate about Super that we didn't really get to see in Z is that Frieza is extremely cunning. He's very smart and very calculated, and Super really shows that. It shows he's not just like basically a musclehead. He actually was the strongest in the universe and held that position for a long time for a reason. So one thing I said was that he perfectly predicted Goku's growth from basically the last time you saw him as a Super Saiyan on Namek to.
You know, technically he's not wrong. I mean, that is one thing that Super did kind of do. And, you know, even though I'm still not a fan of the fact that they even brought him back, and the fact that they're having him like be, you know, out there, and for some reason Goku, Vegeta, or Goku specifically at least being okay with Frieza just being out there, I don't know. It's just, yeah, not really a big fan of that. But if I, you know, put that aside, you do kind of have to acknowledge that they did give some progression to Frieza's character. They did. Like, he went from being someone who was like really egotistical. I mean, he still kind of is. I mean, I still think that his decision to leave Goku and Vegeta alive is going to end up biting him back in the ass. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we did see a lot of progression for his character, because he is, or they did show that he actually is a good judge of character, like he said, and he is a pretty good judge of how, you know, how strong people can be. And it's one of the reasons why he wasn't worried for a long time, I guess you could say, because he knew how strong he was. He knew how strong the you know, other races were, and that's why he was so comfortable, you know, being at the top, is because he knew that, or at least he for a long time believed that no one could ever match his strength. And I mean, the whole thing of letting Goku and Vegeta go, like, you could say that, yeah, you could say that he took into account like their, you know, their growth rate, like how quick they can grow in strength, and he thought that. Sorry, I thought I heard something. He thought that even if I let them go and even if they train, they still won't be able to do anything against me. Or who knows, maybe he'll still continue training and he's not just gonna be okay with where he is in power, where he is now in terms of power. Excuse me. I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it. I could be right. Again, we'll see in a future arc what happens. But yeah, Super definitely did give some progression to Frieza's character, even though I'm still technically not a fan of the fact that they even brought him back in the first place.
Basically 17 to 18 years more of training and god amps later, and was actually accurate in his assessment. The only thing he wasn't accurate in was his form's ability. He never really tried to actually gauge what his form was capable of or its longevity in battle, but he did actually accurately gauge the power level needed to defeat Goku after that amount of time, and nobody in the fandom ever would have predicted something like that. Not only that, but he also witnesses Gohan's potential firsthand and his potential numerous times. So when he first meets him in Super, he basically just completely obliterates him in just base form, not even like his final form, but his actual just little baby form, and shoots a death beam and basically kills him easily. But during the Tournament of Power, he then fights next to Ultimate Gohan, who's equal to him in his golden form firsthand. So then he would be able to note that potential, and he would also be able to note the potential he gets from anger, which makes the hypothesis that he may have been preparing for an eventuality like Gohan Beast even further. But something that I think is really, really interesting, and this is why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to touch up on some things that I didn't touch up on in those previous two, is that Frieza just straight up is not only training for the Saiyans. Yeah, that's right. Now, this is from an interview with Nagamine, who is basically the director of the Dragon Ball Super anime. But this is also implied in the Dragon Ball Super anime very particularly, and you guys may remember this as well. So remember in episode 110 when Goku first he showed Ultra Instinct Omen and the gods were yelling, they were in disbelief. How could a mortal do something like that? They were getting really shook, and they all stood up in the anime in reverence for the silver-haired mastered Ultra Instinct form. Well, Nagamine actually goes into detail about this, and he says, Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza all have many highlight moments. Goku is already coming close to the level of the gods, Vegeta is fiercely trying to catch up to him, and Frieza especially shows a lot of growth this time. He's always been haughty and held himself in high regard, but since Beerus, Whis, and the Omni King exist, he's trying to work out how he can reach the top. Perhaps he's plotting to increase his strength steadily while harboring the ambition to take down the Omni King someday. Or maybe he won't.
I mean, it is possible, of course, but the question is like whether or not he'll actually be able to do it. Because again, like one thing that I think a lot of people kind of forget is that, you know, when it comes to the Omni King, like it's weird because like there's a lot of mystery when it comes to, you know, Zeno. We don't really know like what exactly are his powers. Like, is he immortal? Can he be killed? Can he not be killed? I mean, is the only thing that's really dangerous about him is the fact that he could just wipe you out of existence? I mean, what is it? I mean, is it even possible to overthrow him? Who knows? I mean, you could say that, yeah, maybe he is training for eventually being able to take over, to take out the Omni King, but we still don't know whether that's even possible. Or I don't know. Again, I don't know if we'll ever see that in the future, but why not? I mean, at this point, I feel like it really does feel like anything can happen in Super. Why not?
Won't be able to defy him. Not sure. Goku is the same as always, saying, I want to get stronger. Simple as that. So this is basically the characters after the Dragon Ball Super anime or the Tournament of Power. So basically what he's saying is that while Goku is basically like, oh, I just want to get stronger, have exciting fights, and always just keep growing, Frieza is a bit different. Frieza sees things as more, who is the strongest in the universe? Who is number one, and why is it not me? That's always Frieza's mindset. So when he learns of the Omni King Zeno, or all of these angels and so on, that's who he is focusing on now. And while he does kind of harbor some grudge against Goku and Vegeta and the Saiyans, that's his real focus. His real focus is being number one. It's kind of like, you know how Vegeta was like, I'll be number one, Kakarot, you know, I'll surpass you. It's like that, but actually though, like, it's not just some like weird bromance rivalry. He actually wants to be number one to the utmost. So when he does this Black Frieza transformation, and you're like, Seth, why are you saying he could beat Ultra Instinct Gogeta? Why are you saying he might be able to beat up Beerus and all these things? Doesn't make sense. Well, you have to remember, this dude doesn't care about just those guys. He wants Zeno. He wants to take out the guy who can snap all of the universes away, which is probably why he trained for such an absurd amount of time and was like, okay, Goku, Vegeta, get one shot, bye-bye, I'm leaving. Can I take them as my mates? Okay, come with me. Let's go work on killing Zeno. That's the difference between him and the Saiyans right now in terms of mindset that Nagamine is kind of pointing out, and the anime really did a good job of highlighting. One last thing I need to go over for Black Frieza as well is when I do say, like, okay, he one-shot Goku and Vegeta and Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, a lot of people are like, okay, aren't they tired though? He didn't really do that, right? Well, for one, Gas is stronger than them at full power anyway. Also, Gas then becomes super buff and enraged and stronger on top of that, and Frieza still one-shot him in either base or black. That is debated if it's base or black. Most people just say it's black form Frieza at this point.
Yeah,
even then, Goku and Vegeta,
I think I mentioned this before, like in the Black Frieza video, that he, like, for an instant went into Black Frieza, one-shot him, and then turned back into his final form.
Were actually healed and at full power when they did fight Frieza. They weren't actually nerfed or fatigued that heavily when Frieza did that. And one of the points of them getting healed and Monaito getting this weird ability to suddenly heal them at full power very, like, conveniently was to show that Frieza was that powerful. Because, funny enough, Toyotaro and Toriyama knew people would be like, aren't they just tired though? And obviously wanted to show, no, Frieza actually is that powerful. Why is Gohan Beast even up for, like, discussion? Why am I even remotely saying Gohan Beast would be able to fight someone like that? That would be trying to take out the Omni King, or can one-shot True Ultra Instinct Goku and Vegeta at the same time, and Gas, who literally had a literal cheat code to be the strongest at all times. And Frieza was just so strong that this guy with this cheat code just grows so powerful, he just turned into dirt. Or like on some Kenpachi versus Gremmy energy. Gohan is a bit different in the sense that when he does turn into Gohan Beast, it's stated that once his latent potential is unleashed, he will become the strongest warrior of them all. So, strongest warrior of them all is interesting. You might be saying, okay, well, Beerus, Frieza, are they really warriors? Or like, what does that mean? Frieza actually is called a warrior, not only during the Tournament of Power and all the promotional material, but as Black Frieza, he's called a warrior. So when Goku and Vegeta see him, Vegeta's like, okay, but Gas is supposed to be the strongest warrior in the universe. He should be stronger than you. So that's Vegeta implying Black Frieza is still a warrior. And then Goku says to Whis, he's like, was the strongest warrior in the universe statement applying to Frieza? And Whis is like, I don't know, maybe it's someone else. Who? You know, he's being vague. But Goku also seems to think Frieza's a warrior. So if Gohan, after this fight, and you think that the Dragon Ball Superhero movie applies to both the anime and the manga, which it honestly probably does. I've seen a few arguments for this, and I'll kind of drop some scans on the screen to kind of support that, but basically the Broly movie and Superhero, they're kind of made ambiguously connected to both. They are definitely canon to the anime 100%.
Yeah,
but the
it's
manga is a little bit more ambiguous, just in case.
It's a little bit weird because the whole debate of like, is this canon to the movie or excuse me, is this canon to the manga or the anime? That's always kind of that's always been kind of like an iffy topic. It's a little difficult because there are a lot of times where it genuinely feels like the manga, the anime, and the movies are kind of their own thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, you could sort of like look at a timeline from like Battle of Gods to where we are now, but it's like there are so many things there like in between that just kind of like make you question things. Like, you know, the events in the manga happen differently than how it happened in the anime. And then you've got the movies, which I can't remember, correct me if I'm wrong. It's I think I remember Toriyama did saying in one of the interviews he did say in one of the interviews he did, excuse me, yeah, I could talk, that the movie is kind of like or the movies, all of them are kind of like their own thing. Yeah, they follow the same timeline, but they're kind of still technically their own thing. Like they don't really bother with what happens in the in the movies or in the excuse me in the movies or not in the movies, but seriously, I can talk. What happens in the anime and the manga? I'm sorry, guys. I literally just woke up a couple hours ago as I'm recording this video, so I guess I'm not really, you know, here. But yeah, I think I remember Toriyama saying this in one of the interviews he did for Superhero, where the movie is like kind of following its own thing. I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I do think I remember hearing something like that. Also, the scouter here is drawn a little bit weird because this is supposed to be the side of Bardock's head, but his eye is drawn flat, and you've got the scouter over here. So yeah, this is just it's drawn weird for me. I don't think it's supposed to look like this.
There's a manga only that wants to see the movie, it won't be jarring, etc. But basically, yeah, so there is an argument that Gohan is actually stronger than Black Frieza. You might be saying, okay, Seth, I can kind of see Gohan Beast being stronger than Goku and Vegeta. Like, even though it's crazy, I don't really want to believe it. But Seth, are you trying to say that Gohan Beast could beat true Ultra Instinct Vegeta or Gogeta? Well, that might not be too crazy either if you consider the fact that Piccolo thinks that Cell Max at full power, bloodlusted, like he was Kefling Gohan, would actually beat both of them. And not only that, but Piccolo actually can measure the power of Gogeta via his fight with Broly, and he actually watches Gogeta go fly off and fight Broly, so he actually knows Goku and Vegeta can fuse. Now, while I don't want to say that he was implying Cell Max would beat Gogeta, there is actually an argument that Gohan Beast could be fusion level, and it wouldn't be a contradiction. Now, the other thing that's interesting about Gohan Max is, once again, I think the statement, the strongest battle in history, which is in the promotion material, is heavily overlooked. Because if the strongest battle in history is everything we've actually seen, which wouldn't include Black Frieza, to be fair, but it would include, you know, everything we've seen in the anime or the manga, well, in the anime, that makes him stronger than Beerus 100%, because even Goku and Broly and Jiren and all them were stronger than Beerus, as we all know, in the anime at least. Maybe it'll be retcon in the future anime, but as right now in the anime, everyone kind of agrees. But in the manga, it was different. But in the manga,
well, it's interesting. Yeah, that's another topic that, you know, has been going on for a while. Like, have they surpassed Beerus or not? I think at one point they did, but then whether it was Toriyama or Toyotaro or the anime staff, I don't know, kind of decided that, you know, we kind of want Beerus to be like the goalpost that, you know, like the goal that Goku and Vegeta are aiming towards. And if they've already surpassed him, then, I mean, it makes it a little bit weird. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, one of the things that's been kind of interesting about Beerus is that, you know, I mean, if they've already surpassed him, then what's really the point of him, you know, being there? I think that Beerus kind of loses a lot of the interest because one thing, at least for me personally, I can't speak for anyone else. One thing that's always been interesting about Beerus is that he's always like this threat that's there. It's like he's someone you don't want to cross, and if Goku and Vegeta have already surpassed him, then he's kind of not really that much of a threat anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, he could still like tap on the surface of the earth and completely destroy it. We know he has that ability. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit weird. It does feel like Beerus at this point is kind of like still above them because there was that statement in the Granola arc that like Beerus can always get stronger because how he does it is he just, at least from how I remember, it's been a while since I've read the chapter, but he basically looks at his former self, destroys it, and creates a new one. That's why he continuously gets stronger. That's why there's no limit to how strong he can get. At least that's the explanation that they gave. I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it. I could be wrong. We'll find out. If you guys, of course, have your own thoughts and your own conclusion as to who's stronger, Goku, Vegeta, have they surpassed him? Have they not? Is Beerus still stronger? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
One character that was always Beerus level and was never contradicted was Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue actually is Beerus level. And in fact, not only is he Beerus level, he could go true blue in that fight on top of already being Beerus level and actually be stronger than Beerus. So Vegito Blue could actually output a power stronger than Beerus in Goku Black Arc. And we see him fight, and if the manga it applies to superhero, and this is the strongest battle we've ever seen in history, then that means that Gohan Beast versus Rampaging Cell Max is stronger than a Beerus level fighter fighting. And Gohan no-diffed the other guy harder than Vegito no-diffed Zamasu, like, to be quite honest. Which further implies, yeah, Gohan Beast might be stronger than Beerus, even using the manga, as crazy as that sounds. Of course, Vegito also being Beerus level could also just be referencing base Beerus. Like, there might be an ego, instinct, power-up Beerus as well one day, which, like, would retcon this statement or make it more Beerus-based.
Oh, okay, so, sorry, just a little something. The music that he's using here in the background, again, it's kind of lowered, which I understand because, YouTube. It's interesting because the background music that you could hear at this point, which let me go back a second and you'll be able to hear it. Let me play it again.
Vegito also being Beerus level could also just be referencing base Beerus. Like, there might be an ego, instinct, power-up Beerus.
Yeah, that song, which you can, I know. Okay, so I can't obviously raise the audio or the volume of the audio because I don't want to, get this video blocked. But I'll leave a link to the actual video that that we're watching right here. Go over there. Go to this part of the video. It said the timestamp is 14:08. Okay, so that's the timestamp. Go there. Go to that part of the video, play the video, listen to the audio in the background. That's the theme from Xenoverse 2, if I remember correctly. I think it's a remix. I think he kind of had to use a remix because he couldn't use the original one without, getting the video blocked or being hit with copyright. At least that's, I think that's the one. It's a remix, but it's basically the one from Xenoverse 2, which it's been a while since I've heard that. Sorry, just listened to that and immediately had to see if I was right, if it really is the theme that I was thinking of. And with Xenoverse 2, I wasn't really a big fan of the game, but one thing that I really liked is that theme. I thought it was absolutely amazing. It's I think, in my opinion, one of the best fucking themes that I've heard in any of the Dragon Ball games. There are some that I think are still better, but this one really like. I remember when it first came out, I could not stop listening to it. It was so fucking good.
As well one day, which like would retcon
Still
the
is.
statement or make it more Beerus favor to keep Beerus more relevant somehow. Or maybe Beerus has been training this whole time and, he'll just always be stronger no matter what. But for now, that's basically what I would say Vegito Blue would still be Beerus level until we learn that information. But that is something you could also say.
Hold on, we've also seen Beerus brawl against GODs in both the manga and the anime. True. I still kind of wish we could have seen this in the anime because imagine like seeing all the gods of destruction battling each other in a battle royale, utilizing all their different abilities. Like, that would have been really fucking cool.
Now, one thing I wanted to point out in my last video that a lot of you guys were kind of talking about, you guys were like, okay, Seth, why were these characters like Krillin kicking Cell Max in the face to be so strong? Or why is Toriyama saying that Broly can beat Cell Max? It doesn't make sense. What does all this mean? A lot of people were also saying, you know, Cell Max was stated to be completed. They just need to work on his mind control program. So wouldn't he be stronger than Broly, even the hypothetical post-Gogeta movie Broly? And no, he wouldn't be. So when Toriyama, for one, says Cell Max, if he was completed according to plan, would be stronger than Broly, or Broly couldn't defeat him, he's basically talking about the fact that Cell Max, and this actually applies to what's happening with Krillin and the other characters too, is that Cell Max's mind control program, or the thing that kind of makes his personality or controls his actions or makes him more directed at things, wasn't really completed. So he was kind of just rampaging like a feral animal. He was kind of just throwing power around, sort of like Kale in the manga, or even Kale in Dragon Ball Super. And then when she actually is able to control her actual mind or emotions or condense it, it's obviously way stronger, even though it might not seem like it at first. So when you see Cell Max like rampaging around, he's screaming, you know, like a wild dog, and then you're like, why is Krillin and Fat Gotenks playing volleyball with a guy stronger than Jiren? Well, it's because Cell Max isn't always using his full power, because he doesn't know how to. He doesn't have the mind to do that. He doesn't have the programming to do that. And even then, you know, you have Gamma 2 come in eventually. Piccolo was wearing him down a little bit at first as well. And
I mean, you could say that, yeah, he doesn't have the mind to fully use his power. And I know some people will try to use that excuse as to say that, you know, maybe Cell Max wasn't really all that strong if someone like Krillin was able to do things against him. It's like, no, Cell Max is strong, but it's like what he said. It's like his mind control program wasn't done, so he couldn't fully utilize all the insane power that he has. And remember, we know that in Dragon Ball, it doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're not prepared, if you're caught off guard, even someone weaker than you can hurt you. Like, look what happened with Goku in Resurrection F. It's like he was obviously way stronger, but a finger laser could nearly kill him because he was caught off guard. He wasn't like amping up his body with ki in order to strengthen it. You know what I mean? It's like we know this is the case in Dragon Ball. So even someone as powerful as Cell Max, because he couldn't fully utilize his power, even someone like Krillin could damage him at least a little bit. You see what I mean?
Cell Max eventually just grows stronger and stronger and stronger, probably as he gets used to using his own powers. And by the time Gohan Beast comes along, this is where the statement, this is the strongest battle in history, would probably apply, is because Cell Max then becomes feral and rampages just like Kefla does versus Om and Goku. Remember, Kefla and Goku were scrapping, and then suddenly Kefla, when she was pushed into a corner, was able to one-shot Goku if any of her laser beams actually touched him. Same thing happens with Cell. Cell couldn't control his power. He's stumbling around. He's getting stumbled around by every single person that hits him. And then eventually when Gohan Beast comes, even as a feral animal, he's like, I need to take this one down. This one's scary. He puts everything he has into it. Basically bloodlusted.
So even if his mind control program wasn't fully done, he still had some awareness. Like, he knew when he saw Gohan, it's like, oh yeah, I cannot let myself be hit by that. That's why he kept trying to fly, and why he gathered all that energy, and it still wasn't enough to do anything against him. Like, he still broke through it with his attack.
And that's the strongest battle in history. And that would be completely consistent, and there's no contradictions for that. The other question that people have is like, okay, Seth, so Gohan Beast, you think that he is stronger than Goku and Vegeta, and you may be stronger than Beerus or Black Frieza. I mean, you're not saying 100%, but maybe, right? But does that really make sense? Like, Gohan, who doesn't seem to be training all this, well, that's not true either. Okay, so the one thing about Gohan that you guys need to realize is that Gohan's potential actually changes throughout the series. It doesn't remain stagnant. It's not the same potential. Whereas Frieza, he kind of always had this insane potential. He just never trained. Gohan's potential actually gets higher. And I'm not joking. His potential was always pretty insane. Like, he was basically Raditz level before he could even, like, walk properly. So he's always been pretty insane. But his potential actually grows even more insane. So if you remember in the Future Trunks arc, you have Future Gohan. You know, he's training for a very long time. He doesn't seem to be very powerful. He wouldn't even beat the current Android 17 and 18, or he wouldn't even beat Perfect Cell when he appeared at all. Perfect Cell.
Well, when it comes to his level against 17 and 18, it's kind of different because, like, whether you're going by how it was in the manga or in the anime or in the TV special, it kind of depends, because like some of them like interpret that fight differently. Like some of them say that he wasn't as strong as 17 or 18, or that he was as strong as them when they're using half of their power, but when they're using their full power he couldn't do anything against him. But there's, I think it's in the manga where it's kind of interpreted as he could take on one of them but not both of them at the same time. It's like their teamwork is what eventually took him down. At least that's kind of how it's implied. So it's a little iffy depending on which version you're going for.
I would one-shot that future Gohan despite training for years, and in fact, even these really nerfed future androids are able to basically beat him down. But even then, you're like, okay, how is that Gohan ever going to train and reach these levels? Well, Ultimate Gohan isn't normal Gohan. Ultimate Gohan's potential is unlocked and is actually higher than normal Gohan. And the reason I say this is because the first time Ultimate Gohan ever trains with Piccolo, he goes from basically Buu Saga level to Super Saiyan Blue Termina Power Goku level in basically a few days. I'm not joking. A few days at most. That might even be highballing. A few days he goes from Buu Saga to Super Saiyan Blue Termina Power level. Remember, that Goku's stronger than Kaioken times 10, 3 years of hyperbolic time chamber training, Universe 6 Art Goku. He's as strong as that Goku now. He's stated to be that Goku's rival, and Goku has to use Kaioken to put Gohan down. And then Gohan, after growing stronger in the Tournament of Power, yes, he grows stronger in the Tournament of Power. Every Saiyan grows stronger, as stated by Vegeta. Frieza even is like, okay, I'll work with you. After Gohan says, if you mess with me, like, I'm going to knock you out. Frieza's like, okay, Gohan-san, let's work together. So, yes, Gohan's potential as Ultimate is just way higher. It's way, way, way higher. And if you go by the manga continuity, in the manga, basically in base, he's able to fight Kefla for one. But in the manga, it's actually implied he kind of sort of keeps training. Him and Piccolo now have combo attacks in the Moro arc.
Which was actually pretty cool to see. And I do kind of wish we would have seen it in the movie.
Even in Superhero, there is somewhat of a statement by Gohan that he keeps training. But even then, this Gohan is different than even Tournament Power Gohan. And he's different than just Ultimate Gohan. It's not just like Ultimate Gohan getting a rage boost. You have to remember, this is like a beyond Blue Goku level Gohan now getting his own rage, Ultra Instinct type buff. And now you can see how it's kind of a little bit different. The other question people have is like, okay, Seth, why doesn't this Gohan, get this type of amp during the Moro arc or something like that? I don't know what to tell you. Maybe he just wasn't strong enough. Maybe this is proof he's stronger, if anything. Or maybe this is proof that with Pan on the line, or, Piccolo more so trying to hype him up and be more particular about it with his training. Maybe more.
Well, it's interesting that they mentioned the Moro arc, because it's interesting because there was a moment in the Moro arc where Moro did, he stabbed Goku through the shoulder, and Gohan did get angry, and Moro himself even did mention that, your anger actually caused you to be a lot stronger, but it wasn't enough to be able to actually do anything against him. And to me, that always felt a little bit weird, because usually when Gohan has his rage, his moments of where he's feeling just nothing but anger, it usually powers him up a lot. And the fact that even then, it still was enough to do anything against Moro, maybe you could say that was Toyotaro's trying to show just how powerful Moro actually is, because he probably knows that a lot of us are familiar with Gohan getting rage boosts, and whenever it does, it at least gives him some edge over the villain. It usually never lasts until, when during his fight with Cell, and I guess now in Superhero. But so, yeah, that just, it did seem a little bit weird that it didn't do anything.
Strong enough. Maybe this is proof he's stronger, if anything. Or maybe this is proof that with Pan on the line, or, Piccolo more so trying to hype him up and be more particular about it with his training, maybe more so is sort of guiding him towards the form. Whereas in the Moro arc, that wasn't really as exaggerated. But I would say it's probably just because Gohan's stronger and because Pan was there. But other than that, I personally, deep down, if you had to ask me personally, I would say that Frieza is probably stronger than Gohan. I wouldn't be surprised if Frieza would be stronger than Beerus, mind you, either, at least in the anime. And in the manga, it's more debatable. But Gohan Beast, if I have to be just completely empirical, probably actually, unironically, with just that latent potential makes him the strongest warrior. If Gohan Beast is his latent potential, he would have to be the strongest warrior, even stronger than Black Frieza, as stupid as that sounds. But in my gut, okay, in my gut, I feel like Frieza's gonna be stronger. Anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy the video. You know, I've been saying, Frieza,
we'll see. Again, we're gonna have to wait.
be able to beat Ultra Instinct Gogeta, give or take. At least Frieza more than likely, which is another reason in my gut I think he's going to be stronger. I don't know if Gohan Beast should be able to beat up Ultra Instinct Gogeta. But even then, one thing I wanted to talk about is how strong do you guys think an Ultra Instinct Vegito would be? Now, obviously, a lot of people would be like, oh, Seth, aren't Gogeta and Vegito stated to be equals? Well, not necessarily. There's a few guys that might actually contradict that, and I might have some interesting things to point out about how strong an Ultra Instinct Vegito might actually be, especially a true Ultra Instinct one. But you guys will have to see what I have to say next time. Thank you for watching. Also, if you think Gohan Beast wins, go comment that on the Gohan Beast video and give that a thumbs up. If you think Black Frieza wins, go comment that on the Black Frieza video. Go show your support to who you think would win on those videos, and always subscribe to Set the Programmer. Let's get to 1 million. Thank you.
I think that's the end of the video. So there you go, guys. I mean, again, I feel like we're not gonna get an answer until maybe like later in the story, so we're just gonna have to wait. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap up the video. I feel like it's gone on for as long as it kind of needs to be. I feel like I've already made my thoughts clear throughout the video, and even a little bit before the video actually started. Like I said, I'm fully expecting someone in the comments to say, like, here's the timestamp when the reaction starts. Yeah, again, we're just gonna have to wait. We're just gonna have to wait until the story continues to get a definitive answer as to who is the strongest between the two. Hell, we don't even know if they're gonna fight in the future. I mean, for all we know, Toriyama's gonna do what he's been doing for a while now, which is just forget what happened here and then maybe just repeat the same story with them over and over again. That just seems like that's the case. We'll see. But anyway, guys, like I said, all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like, share, subscribe, you know what to do. Make sure to click the bell icon to be notified whenever I post a new video. Make sure to click on all notifications for that to happen, because YouTube's notification system is still kind of broken. So just click on all notifications to have the best chance of being notified whenever I or anyone else you're subscribed to post a new video on their channel. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye for now.